Afternoon, good evening, happy Friday, happy Saturday, depending what day it is for you. For me, it's Friday morning. I'm in Western Canada, and I'm your host, Coach Phil Jokes of the Business Renovator. Before we get started, I would like to bring on my little promo introduction of Welcome back. So if you have a question you want to ask a Focal Point business coach, look no further. I'm right here. I am one of a couple of hundred from around the globe. So if I don't have an answer to the question, I can reach out to my peers, make an introduction, and you could have your conversation and a question asked by one of those. So don't be shy. My information is right up above me, Phil at coachphil.ca. I use that because it's easier for people to remember, and there's no awkwardness with how do I say my last name. It's not that difficult, but because it's so simple, it's strangely difficult. So if you have a question around time, team, money, and futures, ask a coach. There's no cost for a 20-minute coaching conversation to ask a coach a question. And like I said, I'm one of a couple of hundred around the globe. So with that said, I wanted to talk about wins, but before I talk about wins, I wanted to bring up this book here, The Seasons of Life by Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn was known as the philosopher when he was alive, and his legacy lives on because he's written books and done training, and there's audios and all sorts of things. Some great content of his is available on YouTube. So what I want to talk about today, though, is there are those who will frown upon those who set ambitious goals. And yet without goals, there can be no achievement. And without achievement, life will be as it has been. Interesting, right? So I guess basically what Jim's talking about there is if we don't have something to look forward to, life will just be repetitive. There's a great movie, Groundhog Day. And if you haven't watched that, I would encourage you to watch that, because it's basically like doing the same thing over and over and over, just like Groundhog Day. So watch that. It's with the main character is Bill Murray. Worth a watch. I don't know where you would watch it, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Anyway, I wanted to celebrate the idea of wins, successes, problems you've faced and overcome, challenges you've had and met the challenge and exceeded it in a small way or a big way, or maybe you didn't win, but what did you learn along the way? So Dr. Bandura, somebody who I was introduced to, is the father of self-efficacy. Big deal. What's that? Well, self-efficacy is really just our ability to get stuff done. It's our causative power, not positive power, but our causative power. So what do we believe in ourselves that we can make happen? And that's really self-efficacy. So if you have a high level of self-efficacy, you're going to look at taking on bigger and larger opportunities, challenges, and problems. And as a result of that, you become more, do more, and achieve more. So going back to what Jim Rohn was saying in and around setting ambitious goals, if your efficacy is high, you're more likely to do it. So I wanted to celebrate some wins from a few people that I've been working with in the last several months. Most of them are in the sales arena, but not all. But all have some aspect of sales, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs need to communicate their ideas to other people in order to grow their business, provide their services, and reach their ambitious goals. And Bandura says we go through our successes way too lightly and way too quickly, and we take ourselves for granted. So today I wanted to plant a seed in your brain about stop taking yourself for granted, and leverage your past wins, successes, and triumphs, and things you didn't succeed at, because in every fail, there is a lesson, and the lesson is I have an itchy nose. The lesson is really, if you look at fail and break it into an acronym, FAIL, it could stand for, if you're into this, first attempt in learning. So you really haven't failed. You've learned what didn't work. So from there, you can move forward and try something different, learn something new, develop a skill, or find somebody who can do that part for you so you don't have to do it. So what I would encourage you to do, I'm a big fan of this. It's creating your 100 success list or your victory log, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. And if you've never done one, I highly recommend that you sit down and commit to doing it in one sitting. And start with, like, from the time you were born to wherever you are now, whether you're 30 years old or 65 years old, doesn't matter. And it doesn't have to be in any particular order. So to help you out, just think about it. If you can't remember what it was like to be a child, that's okay. I can't either. So who do you know who has children, or did you have children of your own? And go back to what they had to learn from being, how to communicate, how to crawl, how to drink out of a sippy cup, how to stand up, just everything basic. We take that all for granted. Now, likely the initial part of the list for those early days may not be the most moving past experiences to leverage moving forward. However, it does make your list of 100 easier to get to, and it opens up our eyes to not taking ourselves for granted. So start with that, and then from there, what did you do? You went to kindergarten. What did you do in kindergarten? You learned to maybe read a little bit, maybe sing, all sorts of different things, maybe to get along with other kids. Write that down. And then you went into grade 1 and all the way through high school, secondary, post-secondary school, etc. And what did you do there? What did you learn? Who did you become? Who did you meet? What challenges did you face? And how did you overcome that? Were there any races that you participated in and won? Maybe you were the hurdle race guy, or in a relay race, or maybe you were on the debate team and you won a debate, or you lost a debate, but what did you learn from that loss? Add all of those things up and do it in one sitting. And do it, don't type it, write it out. There's some kind of crazy connection between the neurons and our hand, and this makes things stick. I would do that. And if you get stuck in that sitting, don't give up and try to come back to it. Find a different colored pen and start writing with that. And control your self-talk. If you find yourself, your inner voice is saying, oh, this is hard, I can't do it, I don't have that many things. Tell that voice to just be quiet for now and help you support, and help ask for its support as you move forward to get to your 100 list. So that's a quick introduction as to why I'm a big fan of the 100 success list. It's allowed me to share the same stage as Brian Tracy and talk to a peer of business coaches in the Westin Hotel in San Diego, and has some really great positive feedback from my peers. And I had never done the presentation that I had done in that 90-minute window that I had any time prior to that, other than in my mind and borrowing and leveraging my successes. The idea of the success list gives us an opportunity to give sanction to some of the things we've done that we've overcome and who we've become because of it, and the things we've taken on. So I'd encourage you to do that. So people that I've got to work with in the last few months, they're having a banner year, and there's a whole bunch of reasons for doing that. They have a great attitude. They're very coachable, and they're trying some new stuff. And some of the stuff is not so new because there's some seasoned vets, and they're being reminded about some of the things that they also took for granted, and as a result of that have increased their effectiveness, not only in their professional sales life, but in their home life as well. Many of the participants have commented on how the training they're going through that I'm working with them on, it's having an impact in both areas, professionally and personally, which is a good thing because that was my intention. So best laid plans sometimes work. So what kind of wins did they have? Well, in June, one of the fellows had a banner year. He was, or not a banner year, but he had a banner month this year. And he was off to the races, and last month broke his quota, his targeted amount, by 57%. So he's pretty stoked about that from some of the things he's learned from the training and what he's implementing. Other people have, as a result of leveraging the magic of the 100 Success List, have taken a crazy wish dream, turned it into a major definite purpose objective goal, and as a result of that are living in a tropical climate. We're getting out of the cold winters in Alberta and living the life of their dreams in Cancun. So this list, capturing our successes, it's such a simple thing that people dismiss it, but man, it's so powerful. Stop taking ourselves for granted. Who else can I think of? Another fellow I know in the coaching space was struggling to make ends meet in terms of running his business, because being in the coaching business, you're often self-employed. Most coaches are, and one of the biggest challenges is getting out of our head and believing and getting over the imposter syndrome. So I was in Cancun in October several years ago, and it was just raining like cats and dogs, a tropical rainstorm. And I'm walking to the meeting room from our room. And if you've ever been to Mexico, none of the rooms are connected to the venues. They're open pathways to everywhere because it's a tropical place and it's usually warm and doesn't rain much. Wink, wink. But when it does rain, it can come down really hard. So it was coming down really hard. Anyway, I get a Facebook message from this guy. And he said, man, it's raining. Now, he's in Michigan in October, and I'm thinking, rain, wouldn't they have snow? Anyhow, what he meant, though, wasn't the type of rain I was in and walking through. It was raining opportunities. So I had the pleasure of working with him, and I still work with him now. But it was about 9 months, but it was about 9 months we were working together and helped him come up with some ways to get out of his own way. And one of the tools we used was the 100 Success List. And as a result of that, he crushed it. That October, when he reached out to me via Facebook, and it was raining cats and dogs where I was, it was raining cats and dogs and opportunities. He went from an annualized revenue of $6,000. Yes, $6,000. But he never quit. He never gave up. He had the resolve to move forward. And the 100 Success List helped him with that. And in October, he was on a trajectory of being in around the $300,000 annualized revenue. So he had a well over 7,000% increase in sales. So the 100 Success List is a powerful tool to help you shift yourself. I just wanted to introduce that idea and that concept to let you know that there are some simple and easy things that you could use and leverage to live the life of your dreams, turn your wish into reality. If that appeals to you, hey, I'm Coach Phil on the Business Renovator, and I have an article that talks a little bit more in depth about the 100 Success methodology. If you would like to know more about it, it's only 2 pages. It's a short read. The toughest part is sitting down and committing to doing the list. But the gains you'll get is amazing. Just amazing. I'll share one more story just to maybe inspire you to reach out and ask for the list. There's no price. It's free. I'll just give it away. I had taken a position. I was with a company. I took an opportunity to take a transfer to take on a bigger challenge than I'd ever done before. And they moved to a new city, and they didn't have the mountains to the west, and their streets went a different way, and it was just different, right? It wasn't where I was from. And I was living out of a hotel and a kind of a suitcase sort of thing for several months. And there were some hostilities within the organization, as well as there were some challenges within the account. And part of me wanted to just like tuck my tail between my legs and go back to where I came from. but I'm not a quitter, and I took the challenge on, and I wanted to really give it my best effort before I left. So this is when I really dug into the 100 Success List. I had never really used it before. So I was feeling like I just said I was. And I spent probably the good part of a weekend going through some cassettes. Yes, they were cassettes. MP3s hadn't been created yet, and the internet hadn't been born. I know, a few decades ago, right? But I looked pretty good for 200 years old. I sat down with a pen and paper, and I went through the programs I had and got the idea from there and started making a list. And as a result of making the list, I was surprised how many things I took for granted myself. So one of the roles that I have or had with that organization was to run an account meeting with my team and with the account at their office. And I did that, and went really well. Probably, I don't think I noticed it went much different than it went really well. However, when I got back to the branch and caught up with some of the team, they were telling me it was the best meeting we've had in a very long time. And I got the same kind of feedback from the client. Now, the only thing that changed in that whole meeting was me. And the way I changed was investing the time and the effort to look back into some of the things I've done. It built up my efficacy, increased my confidence, and the meeting went really, really well. So after doing that exercise, one of the things I added to the 100 Success List now, which was 101, because that meeting was the 101st success based on the list I had at the time. I continue to add to that list, and I teach and coach all of my clients to do the same thing. And the results they're getting, I would say they're amazing, but they're not. But they are to the people that are doing it. To me, it's what I would anticipate what would happen. I'm glad that the people have adapted and adopted it, and then they're actually getting the results. So if you want to learn more about how to do that, send me an email, put 100 Success in the subject matter field, and I'll send it off to you. No, there's no cost, no money involved, no transaction. It's free. Just send me an email. With that, I'm going to say hi to my friend Callanan, who's been crazy busy, and she found out what was ailing her. It's good now because she knows what's ailing her. She can move on and get ready for her exciting trip to move to Georgia. So she's going across her country from California all the way to the state of Georgia. But she's going to be in her happier space than ever because things have aligned through the challenges that she faced through the pandemic. She reinvented herself, started a business, bought a house, got her daughter into college, helped her mom with heart surgery. No, she didn't do the surgery, but she supported her. And all of the things are aligning, and she's got her health aligned, and she's on the way. I believe she's traveling in a few weeks to head out to her new home. And if you don't know who Callanan is, you need to go to on Facebook, Cards That Wow, because they actually wow. Let me grab this one over here. Oh, don't pull my monitor. She's created this thing for me, and I actually have it in a branding thing, which I will bring up as well. This card here. She created that. See that shadow in there? That's really a shadow. It's three-dimensional. It's not a graphically designed one that sits. Notice how it changes the position a little bit. I think it does. Yeah, look at that. Anyway, Cards That Wow. I'll show you the brand here because she came to my show. It's out of focus. CardsThatWow.com. Anyway, that's it for me. I need to go get my hair repositioned. I have a barber appointment happening here shortly, so I got to leave, and we'll talk to you soon. And remember to be, I'll just use the card. Whoops, the other way though. Be wonderful, because the U stands for you are wonderful. Have a great week. Have a great month. And I look forward to seeing you on the next Business Renovator.